Okay guys, try the warm-up. It says find the slope and the y-intercept of 2 times x plus 3 is equal to y minus 5. Put me on pause, go ahead and do it, and then continue and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, before you can find the slope and the y-intercept, make sure that you put it into slope-intercept form. So use the distributive property and you're going to get 2x plus 6 is equal to y minus 5. The y is over on the right hand side and you have to get it alone, so let's go ahead and add 5 to both sides, making sure we combine like terms. I'm going to switch the y and put it over on the left side. Y is equal to 2x and the 6 plus 5 is equal to 11. So now that you have it in slope-intercept form, you can determine the slope, which is m. That's the coefficient that is in front of the x, so the slope is 2 over 1 if you were to graph it. And the y-intercept is the b, which is the 11, the plus or minus. There it is. Alright, let's go ahead and start the next lesson, which is lesson 5.4. Alright, 5-4 is point slope form. This is the second form that you're going to learn how to use with linear equations. The first one you learned was slope-intercept form, which was y equals mx plus b. This is point slope form. Point slope form is when it looks like this. It's down here. It's the y minus y1 is equal to m, which is your slope, times x minus x1. So the x1 and the y1 represent a point, your x-coordinate, y-coordinate. If you look over here on the graph, you'll notice they picked a random point. They called it x1, comma y1 right here. This point right here, which happens to be 2, comma 1. It could be the x1, y1 could be any point on the line, so there's an infinite number of choices. The slope, which is your m again, is your rise over your run, and that's always found in this form right in front of the parentheses of your x minus x1. So before you pull out the slope and a point, x1, comma y1, make sure you have it in this order, which is called point slope form. A line passes through -3, comma 6 and has a slope of -5. Write the equation of this line in point slope form. So they're asking us to do it in point slope form. So don't get that confused with slope-intercept form. Point slope form means you need two things. You need a point and you need the slope. That's why they call it point slope form. They gave you a point, -3, comma 6. Sometimes they give you 2 points and you can pick whichever one you want. And they also told us that the slope is equal to -5. Right here and right here are the two pieces of information we need. So let's go ahead and write down the standard form for point slope is y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Substitute in for your m, your x1, and your y1. Be careful, in point slope form it says it has to be minus here, so if it ever turns into a plus, if this turns into a plus, it's because your x was a negative, and a negative times a negative would turn that into a plus. So you'll notice what's going to happen when we put in our x coordinate. So I'm going to go ahead and substitute y minus my y1 is right here, my x1 is right here, so it's y minus 6 is equal to my slope, which is -5, times x minus, drops down, and my x1 is a -3. 3. So notice I have a minus minus, which means that that's going to turn into a plus. So you're going to end up with y minus 6 is equal to negative 5 times x plus 3. That is the answer in point slope form. So when you see a plus here, it means that your x coordinate was a negative. If you saw a plus here, it means that this would have been a negative to change it to a positive. Next screen, it says graph the equation using point slope form. So in this case, they're giving us an equation in point slope form, and they want us to graph it. Well, because it's in point slope form already, we have the x coordinate, my x1, y1. As long as these are both minus, then you just take the numbers that are after them. And then we have our slope, which is the number in front of the parenthesis. So the point they're giving us is 2, 1, and the slope they're giving us is 2/3. Let's go ahead and graph it. Make sure you label your axes and put arrows on the ends of your axes. So start at 2, 1, or excuse me, start at 2, 1, which is right here. So in point slope form, notice how we're not starting on the y-axis like the b. We're actually starting at a specific point. 2, 1, and then we're going to use our slope, and slope, remember, is the change in y over the change in x. So it's going to go up 2, 1, 2, and then to the right 3 because it's positive. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, positive. Up 2, 1, 2, 3, positive. Now, going up 2 to the right 3 is the same thing as going down 2 to the left 3, because a negative divided by a negative is also a positive. And then you want to go ahead and connect your points with a line. Try to extend it farther than your points that you have on your graph. Put arrows on the end of it like it is here, and then don't forget to label it. Y minus 1 is equal to 2/3 times x minus 2. And there it is. Write the equation of the line that passes through these points, 2 points, in point slope form. -2, -3, and 1, 4. So they want us to write an equation. It has to be in point slope form, and it has to go through those 2 points. So don't forget, if they're asking you to do it in point slope form, you need a point, and you need the slope. They gave you 2 points, so pick which one you want. I don't care. I'm sure you're going to tell me to pick the 1, 4, avoid the negatives, which I can't blame you. And in order to find, if you use the -2, -3 for your point, that's still the same. That would be a correct answer as well. Now to find the slope, you're going to need to use your slope formula, which is on your reference sheet. And at some point, you will know that by heart, if you don't already. Don't forget, this is your x and y of your first point, and this is your x and your y of your second point. So substitute in y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So we get 4, this is going to be plus, plus, it's going to be 7 over plus, plus. So 7/3, leave it as a fraction because slope is rise over run, preferred as a fraction over a decimal. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Let's go ahead and write our answer by substituting in I can either pick, we picked 1 comma 4, but I could have picked -2, -3. So let's use this one. Put in 4 is equal to my slope times x minus 1. There's the equation in point slope form. If you had done it using this point right here, your answer would have been y minus y1, which would have turned that to a plus, is equal to your slope times x minus a -2 would make that a plus. So that's what the answer would have been if you used the first point. Both answers would get full credit. And there is the homework, which is actually turned into the classwork because you guys are writing these down. So write these questions down, and when you come back to class, we will work on this as a class and go through each one of these questions.